You are now listening to F&B Radio.
And welcome to F&B Radio. My name is Lindsay Collins, and I am your host. It's Friday, people. If you live in this part of the world, tonight is the double feature of Rip City at the movies. This is so exciting to me because originally my friends Mari and Henry, who put on Rip City, they decided to do this really amazing idea where they're going to take videos that performers make, sketches, and put them into video format. That's what a video is. It's already in video format, but you know what I'm saying. And then they are going to show them at the Terrace, which is, I think, the coolest movie theater in the whole city. It's one of those like deliciously independent, old school, retro looking theaters. It's in James Island. And they were like, we're going to do a version of Rip City that kind of is a harken back. If you've been listening to this show for a long time, Digi-Rip during the pandemic became all the rage. They would put live stream videos that people sent in because we were all like locked in our houses making content. And it was really fun. It felt a lot like Saturday Night Live. Like truly, you're watching it on your TV screen. It's kind of like this collective thing you get to do together. And it was like something that I really miss, even though I love performing in person as well. But they launched the ticket sales and it sold out really quickly. So quickly that people were like, holy shit, I need tickets to that. So if you're one of those people and you missed the announcement, they have released a second showing, a late night show at 9:00 tomorrow night. I have tickets to the 7:00 because I don't sleep on the tickets. I know they go fast. But then we're going to go party at Bar George. And then we're going to be around while the late night crew's watching. And then when they get out, they can come hang at Bar George too. It's going to be a great time. I believe at the time of this recording, there are still a few tickets left. So go ahead and grab them if you live here. And it's going to be really fun. I'm so excited for them. I cannot wait to see the show. I don't have a video in this one, but there's so many amazing performers that do. Camille Lohman, Beaver Sword, Mari and Henry, a.k.a. Nameless Numberhead. There's a crew from Savannah that's putting in work. There's just so many different fun performers. Matt Perry, Andy Livengood, Jason Gross. There's going to be just nonstop laughs. So if you haven't grabbed a ticket, grab a ticket. Grab two if you can. Now I feel bad. I'm like, maybe they've sold out again already. But either way, give it a try. And if not, you can just hang around outside. Maybe I'll scalp mine for more than face value. And then I'll just go eat donuts and sit outside the theater. Okay? I would be open to that. If you want to pay more than face value. Mari, are you listening to this? I'm scalping tickets on F&B Radio as we speak. But I'm so excited for the show tomorrow. I cannot wait to see you all there. And it's going to be a good time. How are you guys doing? Anybody eating a lot of beans? I find myself eating more and more beans all the time. I inch towards plant-based, and it's become a thing where now when I get white beans specifically, navy beans or cannellini, I think there's Great Northern. There's so many different white beans. And I'm not talking about any of the cool, like Rancho Gordo. I can't afford all that. Mostly I just can't afford the time that it takes to soak them. If Rancho Gordo wants to come out with a can, I'll be the first person to overpay for beans. But as of right now, I got to keep it like very simple, AKA in the can. But I've been making beans, it's like a staple. In fact, so much so that my son Luca was like, he really doesn't like beans. He's a very picky eater. He's the only one who's really super duper picky. Julian is like mid-grade picky. Roman is not picky at all. In fact, Roman is like I don't even know how to describe him. He eats it all. He eats anything. But yeah, Luca's really picky, and he's always like, all we ever have is beans. And I was like, he's kind of right. And I noticed, and I've been trying to like not notice this, but with these canned white beans, there's like a little pink tail. And it doesn't really show up right away. Like you open the can of beans and you're like, yeah, it's a can of beans. And then I think it's in the rinsing process. When you like rinse all that aquafaba, I know that's just for chickpeas, but you know what I'm saying? That like sort of viscous, gelatinous, bubbly sort of liquid that's on beans in the can. When you rinse that off, it's like suddenly this little pink tail kind of pops up. And I know it's a sprout. I know exactly what it is. I'm aware that beans are like seeds, and that's the sprout kind of activating and coming to life. I don't even know that. I'm just making this up, but that's what I think it is. But it started to really gross me out. And like, it's been a slow progression. Like the first time I saw it, I was like, well, what's that? And I was like, oh, these must be like slightly sprouted in the can. That's okay. That's good. That's like a sign of life. That's like a sign that you're eating something alive. That sounds psychotic, but you know what I mean? You're eating a living. Nope, that still sounds psychotic. You're eating something that is that is vibrant, right? You're not eating a dead food or like something from I don't know. You're eating something that's good for you. Vibrant equals healthy, some would say. But I've started noticing this with beans, and it's progressively gotten like more and more disturbing to me because it just looks like there's like something like this thing that comes up. It's almost like a little bean penis. Like, you know how dogs, you know what I'm talking, male dogs, you know what I'm talking about. People want to call it whatever they call it, the red rocket lipstick, something like that. But this is sort of what's happening with these beans, where I'm like, why is my bean hard? Why is this? Well, it's just weird looking, and it's starting to be like, I feel like I was eating beans for so long and I never noticed it. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention, but I find that hard to believe because the bean is white and the sprout part is pink. So it's really hard to miss. So I'm like, is this just like something new that's happening? Is anyone else experiencing this? When you pop off the top to a can of white beans and rinse them, are you getting these little bean boners? These beaners? These beaner boners? Beanie boners? There's like something, there's a better way to say it, but that's just what it is. I don't know, but it's really, I'm almost on Luca's side now. I'm like, now I don't know if I can eat so many beans. I hope I haven't ruined it for you. Maybe you've been wondering if that's like a thing too, or maybe there's something new going on where it's like there's a reason that the beans suddenly have pink sprouts. Because I've never noticed it before. I certainly don't see it in like a black bean or even a pinto, which are the other like most commonly, decanned bean that I use in this house. But it's been a weird couple weeks with me just being like, I hope this can doesn't have any beaners. And then it does. And then I'm like, well, fuck it, I'll eat it anyway. But I keep meaning to look into it. And I just don't have the time, but I do have the time to ask you guys. And I know you'll help me. You guys always help me. I want to give a shout out to a very sweet friend, actually, she just posted her breakfast. And she was like, this is an F&B inspired Effin breakfast. Which if you've been like following the show for any amount of time, or you follow me on Instagram, breakfast is like my big meal. That's when I really feel like inspired to give it my all at breakfast. It kind of goes progressively downhill throughout the day. Every now and then I'll rally and pull out a big dinner, but most of the time I'm like on my phone being like, who's doing takeout burgers? Because that's what I want for dinner. But I start out the day really inspired. And I'm dead set on eating breakfast. It's like something I won't skip. And it sounds, people, when I say this, people are like, that's stupid. But I'm like, it's changed my life. Like waking up and eating a really, not just big, I don't mean like a what's that word? Like a lumberjack stack of flapjack. That I'm not saying that. I'm not saying it's like it's not the volume. It's like a big breakfast in that it's varied in what you're getting. You're not just getting eggs and like some meat. That's very American. But if you get eggs, 2 eggs always, some sort of cooked vegetable or salad, and I mean a big salad, and then a nice piece of toast, perhaps some little like herb session, a little bit of, I don't know, any kind of meat or protein you want to add on. But it has to have all of those things. It has to have protein and fiber, which are the eggs and the veggies. Something delicious like a cheese. I always put some sort of cheese on my breakfast. Parm shaves, something like that. But she said that she started making breakfast because she saw me making so much breakfast. And Jordan, then she messaged me and she said, "You've really unlocked something with your combos. It's so nourishing." And that's something that if you haven't like gotten on the breakfast train, or you're like my mom who says that if she eats breakfast, she'll throw up. Like some people say that. Some people say they feel nauseous when they eat. And I hear that. I think I lived most of my life thinking that. And actually I was probably feeling nauseous, but that's because I was super hungover every day. So I'm like, that's different. If you're just like, if you're out all night and you don't wake up feeling hungry, that's totally different. But I'm saying if you're just waking up, you should eat breakfast. And you should do it in a big, thoughtful, like kind of fancy way, I think, because it really sets the tone for your day. And it gives you this unbelievably nourishing boost. There really is, if you haven't done it, a big pile of sauteed greens with garlic and chili flake and olive oil and lemon zest and a really nice piece of toast with butter and salt or butter and jam and 2 sunny side up eggs. It will change your life. And if you want to add in bacon, or my personal favorite, I've been on a sausage kick, which is not a health food by any means. Sausage is kind of like, we know what sausage is, but it's amazing. And it's still protein, even if it's fatty. It's pretty fatty, but it's good. And we've just been ripping through sausages. And I mean, I like to mix it up. I really just look in my fridge and I'm like, what do I have leftover Brussels? Put them on there. Put an egg on top. Put some chili crunch. Go nuts. But feed yourself in the morning. But I thought it was really cool that Jordan reached out. Thank you, Jordan, if you're listening. To say that she's been really finding having a breakfast like that to be nourishing. And hers was gorgeous. It had like kale, soft boiled eggs, and then it had figs. And I was like, damn, you are speaking my language. So wherever you are, if you're not a breakfast person, I urge you, give it a try. It's not all bacon, egg, and cheeses, though. That is kind of the ultimate breakfast. But it can look of various amounts. It can look various amounts. Wow, that's just not going to work for me. It can look so many different ways. And so I think it's important to like reimagine what is a breakfast food. Because I think we get in our box of like, if it's not pancakes, sausage, bagels, bacon, then it's not breakfast or pastries. And don't get me wrong, like I eat those every day at some point. But when you're first starting out, like give yourself that little boost, because something about eggs and roasted veggies is really, really magical. And there's not as many opportunities to have that unless you go to a brunch or something. And like, who has time for that? But that's why it's so cool to do it for yourself, where it's like, it really doesn't take that long. And it sets a tone for like, you know what, I care about you. You're fancy and you deserve a good breakfast. It might be the only thing that separates us from animals and robots. We're the last bastion of things that will make something nice for ourselves that have the capacity to do so. Although AI, I never know, like, I don't know how to, like, I'm like, is that AI? I'm having a hard time identifying AI. Because now that I think about it, I'm like, AI's been around, right? Like it's been here for so long. I think it's like people just are finally starting to accept that it's here. But I'm like, it's been here since the 90s, like especially since computers have been invented. Like it's been doing shit for you. I've been in this hilarious place where I keep getting in these like kind of text message fights with people. And I'm trying to be level-headed, but AI is really sending other messages. Like not actually sending them, but you know at the top where it prompts you, it just keeps prompting the most fucked up, rude shit. And it's making me laugh because I'm like, is AI trying to help me like set boundaries? Like it'll just be like someone will be in the middle of typing something and it'll just prompt me to say, I don't know, talk later. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, it's just so funny how blunt AI is. It's just, I haven't really noticed those before as much as I have recently, where it's just very much it's kind of saying what everyone's thinking. And maybe it's not so bad. It's hilarious to see me out there trying to be like, AI, is that you? Are you AI? Like, it's just like, even this, me recording this podcast, I'm like, well, technically, my intelligence isn't making this into a sound wave. Is that AI? You know what I mean? Like, what is it? What artificial intelligence means? It's just that it's doing something for you. It's using its computer brain to do something that you could have done. But I mean, I could have never turned my own voice into a sound bite or wave or whatever. So I don't know. But I do know that when AI is prompting and reading the text that someone else is writing me and then offering up potential responses that happen to be very rude, I'm like, either I've trained AI and I'm rude, or it's telling me that I should be more rude. I don't know how to sort it out. But I do know that making yourself food that's something AI can't do. Not yet. A robot, maybe they could. But any of the artificial intelligence, like things where it's like, we asked AI to make a menu and it was so bad. And you're like, no shit. It's not. It'll get there. Just like all of us. It'll get there. But no. I hope your weekend is going great. I hope I see you at Rip City. I hope you're having a better time than I am out there. Because let me tell you, there's something in the cosmos. Some shit's way off. And I'm just trying to really hide in my house until I figure out what's happening. But I love you so much. And I'm so grateful for you listening. And if you have any questions about AI, maybe you are also having a hard time recognizing AI in your own life, let's chat about it. And especially if you know anything about the bean situation, I genuinely would love to chat about that. So hit me up. Stay well. And I'll see you next week. Bye. Bye, bye, bye.
Pour passer des nuits à Rousseau, on enverrait des cartes postales. Je laisserai un mot sur le